Odella found Mr. Ramos patiently waiting outside the room. She gently closed the door. "We didn't have a friendly conversation," she said, informing him about the meeting with Caleb. "Maybe he's not in a good mood." She bitterly smiled at him. There was only a slight chance of hope that she'd receive help from Caleb. Even so, she was thankful to Mr. Ramos for urging Caleb to that meeting. "Thank you, Mr. Ramos." "Anytime, Miss Bale." "Are you leaving already?" "Of course. Should I stay here with a man who is even colder than ice?" The man in the room was no longer the same Caleb she used to know. Mr. Ramos got what she was about to say. He contorts his chin and scratches his head slightly. She left the door where Caleb was. It feels like a heavy rock is pressing on her chest, iron chains wrapping around her neck as they are heading outside. Odella stopped at the front door, looking at the black Audi A7 that was slowly approaching the free space of the parking lot. She thought for a moment about who might be inside the car. Mrs. Farrell, Caleb's stepmother, lives miles away, while his grandpa lives in a nearby town. Caleb is the only one who resides in this villa. A chance did not disappoint her when the driver alighted and opened the back door for the man boarding on it. "Odella? Is that you?" surprisingly said the old man in his 60s. He's wearing a plain white shirt and pants paired with simple slippers. At first glance, someone might have thought that this visitor was a nobody. Who would have imagined that he was once a chief in business? "Grandpa Farrell!" Odella exclaimed, excitedly approaching the man she had not seen for years. "Wow! Look at you! What are you doing here?" I talked to Caleb." Grandpa Farrell grinned after hearing that she had met his grandson. "Ah! Am I missing something?" "I am missing the old days," he said teasingly. "It's business." Business. His gaze landed on the bite mark on Odella's shoulder. But he said nothing, while she was unaware of what he was seeing. Grandpa Farrell and Odella's grandfather were friends. They treated each one like actual families. He always took care of her whenever the Bale family went to his mansion years ago. It's when Grandpa Bale visits the Farrells' mansion with Odella. The two old men played chess or golf while she studied with Caleb in the mansion's library. Then, she remembered that the Bale family was always together with the Farrell for celebrating festivals, special occasions, or Christmas. The picture of the mansion is still illustrated in her memory, how the trees grow and their leaves turn yellow, how she loved the invigorating fall season air, or maybe how Caleb took care of her whenever they went there. She also loves the morning fragrance coming from his garden full of roses. "Are you leaving?" Grandpa Farrell asked, but before Odella answered this question, he followed it with, "Stay, and let's have dinner." "I don't think it's a nice idea." She wasn't sure if Caleb would be happy seeing her again after asking her to leave. No, she was sure about it, Caleb wouldn't be pleased. "Grandpa," a crisp voice from Caleb, with a tone of objection. She didn't know how long he had been there. Indeed, he heard everything. Grandpa Farrell and Odella turned at the front door where Caleb was, like a knight guarding his home. Mr. Ramos was beside him, waiting for his order. "Hey, man. I am inviting Odella to dinner." "No, because she's leaving." His threatening eyes narrowed, looking in Odella's direction. "Well, I insist on inviting her," Grandpa Farrell rebutted. He smiled at Odella, ignoring Caleb. "This is my home. I may choose whom I let inside." "Odella, don't mind him. You'll stay. We have many things to catch up on." Grandpa Farrell held her hand with no intention of letting her go. She can't do anything about it, as he has already pulled her inside. A haughty spirit seemed to follow Odella as the old man accompanied her to Caleb's villa. She avoided the latter's piercing gaze, even when they passed across him to re-enter the building. She also wanted to have a friendly chat with Grandpa Farrell that she hadn't seen for a while. It just so happened that they met in this place. Grandpa Farrell and Odella sat on the long couch that she used early before talking to Caleb. It's a good thing that the old man is also guarding her against his grandson. Though, she feels awkward and nervous like an innocent rabbit who went to the Lion King's den. "How are you, Odella?" "I am managing the restaurant at the Bale Hotel. You can visit me sometimes and have a taste of my best dishes." "I am living with Aunt Aurelia and Livia." He nodded. "I remembered that being a chef was one of your dreams. Congratulations." "Thank you. So, any news from your brother?" Grandpa Farrell caught the topic she avoided the most. "None." Odella pursed her lips, yet the pain that was inscribed on her face did not deny what she was feeling at the moment. She knows that Broad was an asshole, bequeathing every problem to her. He said nothing, he just left. Still, she loves her brother. Broad is the only family that she has. Do you want Caleb to help you look for him? Grandpa immediately refused Caleb. Odella knew Caleb was listening for a while because he remained inside the room, seemingly observing her movements as if she would steal those expensive items around her. Why did he have to stay? Doesn't he want to be in the same room where I am? What? Asked Grandpa Feral. You are senseless. I will not help that woman. Caleb. What? Do I have to remind her of what happened 10 years ago? Caleb said with sarcasm. Justice proved that her father had nothing to do with it. Hearing about her father, the world seemed to have stopped. Caleb poked the most sensitive topic she didn't want to remember. Odella's throat ran dry. She gripped the corner of the bag she was carrying. There was nothing to be angry about. You could just say you won't help me. Odella can no longer control her anger, maybe because his grandfather was there and giving her courage who still believes the Bale. Caleb scoffed in response. She faced his ominous gaze. Minutes ago, you were selling yourself to me. Where did you get your audacity now? Caleb. Odella knew she needed Caleb's help. However, he was too unreasonable. He called her senseless, he opened her wounded heart, and now he's claiming like she's a tramp. Caleb insulted Odella in front of Grandpa Feral, and that's too much. She can no longer afford to wait there and pretend that everything is okay. She stood up. Grandpa, I'm leaving. There was no emotion in Odella's voice. The old man sighed. All right. See you soon, Odella. She had not bothered to say goodbye to Caleb. In her mind, he was a monster. Upon exiting the main gate, that's when she finally breathed. That man. Then, senses came through her. She suddenly regretted why she annoyed him. She forgets he was her last hope.